Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moments. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 83 based on novel. So let's start. On the periphery of the Xianling Emperor Pond, the 9 fishes playing the dragon formation is impressively guarding the entrance to the Xianling Emperor Pond. But at this time, at the entrance of the Xianling Emperor Pond, a black figure filled with a terrifying aura slowly stood there, as if waiting for someone. The black figure is not in a hurry, sits on the ground, and then closes his eyes slightly. This is so, even if there is any trouble here, it will be the first time. Within the Xianling Emperor Pond, Mu Yingying and Mu Feng also had their own experiences. Since Mu Yingying entered the Xianling Emperor Pond, a rather greedy aura has also emanated from her body. What about Xiao Yan and the others? After being separated by that mysterious irresistible force, Mu Yingying also found herself on a rock. There is only a very calm sea around. Mixed with golden sea water, there seems to be a mysterious power in the sea water which makes Mu Yingying also curious about this golden sea water. Xiao Yan and I should have been distracted by the power in the Xianling Emperor Pond. Mu Yingying also moved her lips slightly, and then she muttered to herself. The next moment, Mu Yingying also gently touched the golden sea water with her finger. An extremely special power also spread through Mu Yingying's whole body. What a strong power! No wonder. Mu Yingying also laughed. The next moment, on Mu Yingying, the terrifying half-step 5-star fighting emperor level strength also burst out in an instant, and the blue flame also slowly attached to Mu Yingying. The 3,000 silks plus that are as holy as a fire elf. It seems that the two of them are also separated from me. Mu Yingying also radiated her enormous power just now, trying to find Xiao Yan and Mu Feng, but found that she could not find their breath. This mysterious spirit. The area of the Imperial Pond is also very large. What a pretty woman. A little loli also slowly emerged from the water, revealing a pair of eyes above the water, but the strange thing is that the pupils of this little loli actually scattered some extremely twisted taste. After carefully checking that there was no one around, Mu Yingying was also relieved, and then suddenly sat on the reef, rolled up her skirt, and revealed her extremely white jade feet. Sitting down slightly, Yuzu stepped into the golden Xianling Emperor Pond. The cold feeling spread all over the body, but the next moment an extremely pure power also slowly flowed to him along the jade feet. This Xianling Emperor Pond is really different. However, the energy density here can be a little too low. It seems that it is not a waste to find a place with a higher energy level. Mu Yingying had a plan, but she did not leave immediately, but her jade feet slightly swinging, and then splashing pieces of water. Mu Yingying's lips parted slightly, revealing an extremely rare smile. With that smile, her eyes moved slightly, like a fairy. If I had to say it bluntly, smile all over the city and smile all over the country. This is the best metaphor. After playing for a while, Mu Yingying also sat on the reef, and then a rather exquisite jade bottle appeared out of thin air in the palm of her hand. Inside the jade bottle, an elixir also slowly appeared in it. The elixir had quite exquisite patterns, and even through the jade bottle, one could smell a rushing fragrance. If Xiao Yan was here, he would be able to realize that this medicinal pill would be the Do-Di pill. Moreover, Xiao Yan could know by just a glance that the rank of the Do-Di pill in front of him was close to perfect. Because the exquisite lines on this Do-Di pill obviously illustrate a truth. That is the refiner who refines this medicine pill. His strength is definitely not bad. What is even more terrifying is that even Xiao Yan can't compare to this medicine refining technology. Do-Di pill. Mu Yingying also stared blankly at the pill in front of her, and then said slowly, Do-Di Dan is the reward for the top 3 in the points looting competition. Xiao Yan, Mu Yingying, and Mu Feng, each of them has 1. It's just that before entering the Xianling royal family, Zhu Lao secretly gave the Do-Di pill to Mu Yingying and Mu Feng. But it was the only one who didn't give it to Xiao Yan. Because the purpose of this Do-Di pill is to directly raise the powerhouse below the 5-star Do-Di level by 1 level. Before Xiao Yan was only in the middle stage of the 4-star Do-Di. Zhu Lao was also afraid that Xiao Yan could not eat hot tofu in a hurry, so he did not give it to Xiao Yan rashly, for fear that he would swallow it now. Otherwise, this Do-D pill is also used to break through 5-star Do-D, the most friendly. And Mu Ying is already at the half-step 5-star Do Emperor level, and Mu Feng is also the strength of the late 4-star Do Emperor, so Zhu Lao also gave them the Do Emperor pill of the two. As for Xiao Yan, he has to at least wait for a breakthrough. After the late 4-star Do-Di, Zhu Lao will only give it. I'm already a half-step 5-star Do Emperor. I don't know if I can break through to the mid-5-star Do Emperor with this Do-D pill. The next moment, Mu Ying also came back to her senses, and then slowly held her hand. Do-Di Dan Dao In. Although this Do-D pill is only useful for the 5-star Do-Di and below, it is already a half-step 5-star Do-Di, so it is also within the scope of use. It is best to find a place with strong energy. In that case, the grasp is also much greater. With a plan, Mu Ying also plans to fly away, because Mu Ying also felt it in the dark. There is also a place with a lot of energy in this Xianling Emperor pond. Surrounded by azure flames, he stood up abruptly, his toes a little, and he walked on the water. As if a dragonfly touches the water, it is quite light. He, miss, don't leave Tilda. Stay and play with me, okay? A clear voice echoed beside Mu Ying. Who is it? Mu Ying is also paying attention to the situation around her at all times. The moment this voice appeared, even with Mu Ying's current half-step 5-star fighting emperor level strength, she was quite puzzled. Because according to Mu Ying's perception, the source of this sound is actually from all directions. Can't find the source of the sound at all. The unknown is the worst. But at this moment, Mu Ying showed her extremely decisive side. An azure blue flame spread out instantly, and then slowly turned into a pair of armor on top of the body. With this flame armor, Mu Ying also had some calmness. Then he stopped, his toes on the water, and then my Mu slowly glanced around. What a weird flame. It's actually the same as the flame on that human kid. Little Loli's voice was also heard, and the next moment, a huge vortex appeared on the surface of the water. Seeing this, Mu Ying also became vigilant, because the source of that voice was the center of the vortex. What a terrifying wave. Mu Ying's beautiful eyes wrinkled slightly, and then stared intently at the vortex swirling above the water surface. In that vortex, there is an extremely small figure. Gulu Gulu. Huge blisters also emanated from the center of the vortex, and the next moment, the figure of the little Loli also appeared. The first thing that caught Mu Ying's eyes was a very small figure. It seemed that this figure was not even 1 meter tall. Compared with Mu Ying, she looked really short, but the delicate face of little Loli also surprised Mu Ying, with watery eyes and hair. It is shoulder-length short hair, and a black evening dress is also a perfect way to show the newly developed figure. Besides, what attracted the most attention on this woman was the big eyes. Mu Ying stared at it for a while, but also found that she seemed a little sloppy, and immediately shook her head violently, trying to make herself a little more awake. And then the next moment, he also said, "Who are you? And listening to your tone just now, you seem to have met another person with a flame besides me. Where is he?" Mu Ying also didn't give little Loli a chance to breathe, and then asked a series of questions. Because the only people who entered the Xianling Emperor Pond were the 3 of them in the incense pavilion. If they also possessed the same flame power, it could only be Xiao Yan. "Big sister, you asked such a question in one breath, how can I remember it?" Little Loli also looked harmless, her big watery eyes staring at Mu Ying fiercely. "Who the **** are you?" Mu Ying didn't look directly into the big watery eyes of the little Loli. "You don't need to know who I am." Little Loli also concealed her smile and said to Mu Ying, "Humph." Mu Ying snorted coldly, and then the blue flames suddenly spun around her body, and the next moment, it turned into a spear and attacked the little Loli viciously away. Shabu. The azure blue energy flame spear suddenly came to little Loli's side the next moment, and surprisingly, the majestic spear stagnated around little Loli. "Big sister, why don't you do anything if you don't agree? No one likes girls who fight and kill." Little Loli also made a slight voice, and then she waved her fleshy palm lightly, and then Mu Ying attacked. the energy spear that came here also turned into powder all over the sky, floating on the sea surface. Damn. Seeing this, Mu Yingying suddenly realized something. Because of the blow that little Loli just made, it seemed simple, but in fact it contains extremely terrifying power to make it possible. Because Mu Yingying is already at the half-step 5-star Do Emperor level at this time, even the ordinary 5-star Do Emperor late stage is quite difficult to deal with. How could it be thought that the seemingly weak woman in front of her had such a terrifying power in her body? By the way, the person who has the same flame as you, big sister, he may die without a burial when he enters a mysterious place. Little Loli also said slowly. Humph. It's a mystery. Mu Yingying also snorted coldly, but at this time Mu Yingying knew that she was not the opponent of this little Loli in front of her, so she immediately had the intention of retreating. This Xianling Emperor Pond hasn't come to such a beautiful person for many years. Big sister, can you stay with me? Little Loli's pupils also slowly emitted a wave, and then she stared at Mu Yingying, saying a word, one sentence. I will not accompany you. Mu Yingying also said softly, and the next moment, her speed suddenly skyrocketed, trying to escape from this little Loli. I have existed in this Xianling Emperor Pond for 1,000 years, and nowhere in this place can escape my perception, so it's better to give up. The next moment, little Loli's figure also bent down and disappeared above the water. When Mu Yingying heard the words, she did not feel discouraged at all, but continued to speed up and escape from the place where this little Loli existed. Hoo. After Mu Yingying's speed increased, she kept walking for a few minutes, leaving a distance of dozens of kilometers, and then her toes slightly touched the surface of the water, gasping for breath. Big sister. A crisp voice also appeared in Mu Yingying's ears instantly. Then Mu Yingying also saw this, the water surface in front of her was spinning, and the center of the rotation was that little Loli. Damn it! This time, Mu Yingying also understood the seriousness of the matter, and immediately her beautiful eyes sank slightly, and then she stared at little Loli intently. Big sister, why can't you run away? Because I'm the witch in this Xianling Imperial Pond. After the little Loli finished speaking, a strange smile appeared on the corner of her mouth, and the next moment, there was a terrifying wave in her pupils. On the witch's body, those big watery eyes, for some unknown reason, actually spun round and round. The next moment, Mu Yingying also fell into a sluggishness and was out of control. Big sister, now we can be together forever. The witch also laughed strangely a few times, and then walked towards where Mu Yingying was. What the witch just performed was one of his charm techniques. This charm technique has a great success rate for those whose strength is lower than her own, so Mu Yingying had no defenses, so she was also caught. At this moment, Mu Yingying stood on the water surface slightly sluggishly, with her eyes open, but motionless, like a statue. Big sister, let's go, I'll take you to my palace. We'll be together forever. The witch was also close to Mu Yingying, only to realize that the woman exuded an extremely holy aura, as beautiful as a fairy who doesn't eat fireworks. After doing all this, the witch also raised her chubby palm and just wanted to hold Mu Yingying, but a terrifying voice echoed in this space. Move her. Death. Above the water surface, the space was also distorted, and then an extremely hot wave was emitted from the distorted space. The flame power appears strangely black, but the damage to the witch is not low at all. The next moment, in the twisted space, a black flame with a destructive aura also appeared out of thin air, and then smashed viciously on the witch's body. The power of holy flame. At this moment, the witch also had a rare solemnity on her face. Because of the attack of the black flame just now, Yu reading has blocked all the escape routes around her. At this time, the witch has various degrees of damage all over her body. That chubby palm is also constantly bleeding black blood. Damn it! It's really unlucky. After the witch finished speaking, she no longer hesitated, and she suddenly covered her head and plunged into the water. One strike. Seriously injured. The power of this black flame is so terrifying. On the 7th floor of the underground palace, a certain space here is also distorted. At this time, a huge figure penetrated by chains, emitting extremely terrifying black flames from top to bottom. Ying, hurry up. A voice was also introduced into the distorted space, and the distorted space was suddenly closed at the next moment. What did you just do? The next moment, a breath like a waking giant dragon suddenly sounded on the 7th floor of the underground palace. Ha ha ha. Human old dog. It's not that easy to devour this king. The figure whose body was penetrated by chains also laughed. Humph. You won't be able to jump for long. The mysterious old man didn't care about that. The next moment, the 7th floor of the underground palace also returned to calm, but the corner of the mouth of the figure penetrated by countless chains seemed to be whispering something. Cough, cough. The next moment, Mu Ying also came back to her senses, and then she just felt a weak feeling in her body. Ying, let's go. A powerful voice also slowly entered Mu Ying's mind. Brother. Mu Ying heard the words, her pupils also became a little wet. This familiar feeling was clearly his long-lost brother. Elder brother. Is it you? Where are you? Mu Ying couldn't help but say. I used to have a smooth life with my brother, but unexpectedly, my brother went out for a year and never came back. No matter how Mu Ying contacted her brother, there was no news. At this moment, listening to her brother's voice, Mu Ying's longing tears couldn't stop flowing. However, some of the responses to Mu Ying were just deathly silence. The next moment, Mu Ying's eyes suddenly spread out, and she glanced away at the surface of the Flame Emperor pond, and then a huge power emerged in an instant. Suspended in front of Mu Ying's chest, there was an extremely weak blue flame. The azure flame slowly floated in front of Mu Ying's chest, slowly exuding a strange power. This power, even if it is Xiao Yan, is very afraid. The space seemed to be burning, and I couldn't help trembling slightly. What's the smell? On the 7th floor of the underground palace, the old man who had closed his eyes slightly opened his eyes instantly, and the huge perception instantly filled the 7th floor of the entire underground palace. The next moment, the old man's perception was also locked in the 1st floor of the underground palace. What is that? The old man also murmured slowly, because from his perception, there is a terrifying flame force that is not inferior to holy flame in the 1st floor of the underground palace at this time. Not good. The man who was bound by the chains in the 7th floor underground palace also sensed the intention of the old man in front of him and immediately said to himself. The next moment, the black flames all over the man appeared impressively, and then mixed with unstoppable power, roaring away at the old man. Just as the man mobilized his strength, the chains around his body tightened abruptly, and then a burst of pain spread all over his body, but at this time the man couldn't care so much, and his eyes were only red. Humph! Facing such a ferocious black flame, Io, with the strength of the old man, did not dare to take it rashly. He immediately focused his attention on the black flame, and when he moved his hands, a terrifying power instantly matched the black flame. The flames are against each other. Boom boom boom. Horrible fluctuations also erupted in this dark space. Damn it! The power of this holy flame has been suppressed, yet it is still so terrifying. Thankfully, this place was specially created, otherwise it would not be able to withstand the attack of this lunatic. The old man also said slowly. Ah. As the attack fell, the man also cried out like he was going crazy. Because when the man launched the attack just now, the chains running through his body also surged, bringing him the pain of 10,000 chains. Humph! Yanji, why bother with our Xianling royal family? As long as you promise to submit to us, then the inexhaustible glory and wealth will be in front of you. The old man was also talking. A group of hypocritical hypocrites are also worthy of my obedience. If you want to get my source power, can you come and try it? The man called Yanji also laughed and said disdainfully. Ha ha ha. Don't worry, you won't be so stubborn soon. The old man also said slowly. You said it hundreds of years ago, and it's the same now. Yang Ji snorted coldly. Hearing this, the old man didn't pay any attention to the scorching heat, closed his eyes, and continued to practice. Why can't you sense it? Above the surface of the Xianling Emperor pond, Mu Ying also said with disbelief. Brother. He whispered softly. Some of those who responded to Mu Yingying were just dead silent. The next moment, Mu Yingying also slowly put away the flame in front of her chest. The power of this flame, I am afraid that Xiao Yang's fusion of 23 kinds of different fire power is not inferior. Elder brother. You can't have any accident. Mu Yingying also moved her lips slightly, and then said slightly worried. After a brief thought, Mu Yingying was not stopping. After all, it was to prevent the witch from coming back. Mu Yingying immediately headed towards a certain place she sensed. Where it is the core area of Xianling Emperor Pond, where Xiao Yang retreated, but I don't know why this Mu Yingying does not have any token of the Qian Muyu clan on her body, but she actually knows this core area. Cough cough cough. Damn it. What is the relationship between this woman and the one in the deepest part of the underground palace? The witch also dived into the water, and then slowly left where Mu Yingying was. Actually let the person in the deepest part of the underground palace not hesitate to take a shot. That person in the deepest part of the underground palace is a genuine fighting fairy. The little witch's appearance was also quite dissatisfied, but the evening dress on her body was also horribly broken, but the witch also had blood flowing out. It wasn't that the witch left at that time, she had no doubt that she would be killed directly by the one in the deepest part of the underground palace. Because she felt the taste of real destruction from the power just now. It's all small monsters who came in this time. After the witch finished speaking, she didn't do anything. She walked towards the depths of the Xianling Emperor Pond, not knowing what to do. What a strong power. On the other side, Mu Feng was also directly immersed in the water, and then said slowly. But I just don't know where Xiao Yang and Mu Yingying are going. After Mu Feng finished speaking he was enjoying himself, because the mysterious power in the Xianling Emperor Pond, even if he just came into contact with it. In the water in the Xianling Emperor Pond, an extremely comfortable feeling spread all over the body in an instant. Do Di? It seems that this time I can also use this Do Di pill to break through the 5-star Do Di. Mu Feng also laughed. Although Mu Feng was only at the peak of the late 4-star Do Emperor, he was only one step away from the completion of the 4-star Do Emperor, so with the help of the mysterious effects of Do Di Dan and Xianling Emperor Pond, it was a matter of course. With a plan, Mu Feng also plunged into the Xianling Emperor Pond, and the further down he went, the greater the effect. At this time, Xiao Yang was also located in the center of the core area of the Xianling Emperor Pond, and then he sat cross-legged, and the water in front of him that contained extremely terrifying vitality was slowly moisturizing Xiao Yang's body. Let's give you some tips. Seeing this, Long Yi also smiled secretly, and the next moment, Xiao Yang was thrown into a pond by Long Yi. This pond appeared when Xiao Yang took the Origin of Life stone, but although the area is small and can only be soaked up to Xiao Yang's neck, the terrifying power contained in it is also slowly nourishing Xiao Yang. As for Mu Yingying, she also came to the periphery of the isolated island where Xiao Yang was, and found that she could not enter the isolated island no matter what, so she gave up immediately, and then went directly around the isolated island, took off her clothes, and then slowly walked into the sea, soaked in the water, only the forehead was exposed. A body as white as jade also appeared in the Xianling Emperor Pond. At this time, the three of them are also enjoying the benefits of this Xianling Emperor Pond. Within the Xianling royal family, there was a rather dark gate, and several figures slowly appeared at this time. Among them, there was one, who was the person in charge of Solomon who participated in the super sect trials. Solomon, in this Xiansan 3 days, is a fairly low-key sect, because there are very few things that come out, and the disciples within Solomon are also extremely low-key. However, even if it is like this, it cannot resist the prestige of this Solomon. After all, it is possible to be within the 9 super sects within the Xiantian Santian with as many sects as the stars. No one can be trusted without any background. A few people slowly entered a room, and Wenzi also carefully checked to see if there were any suspicious people, and gently closed the door of the room with you. Just as Wenzi closed the door of the room, a slight spatial fluctuation also quietly entered, and then he stood still in a certain corner of the room. How are things going? Wenzi also asked. In the room, the dim light also shone slowly, and then a voice emanated from it. According to our investigation, the Medusa clan did not know where a clan with the blood of the 9-colored swallowing python came from. Since the arrival of this clan, the 9 major tribes that originally faced each other in the Medusa clan have all surrendered to her rule, but only 3 tribes refused to obey her rule, but the blood of the 9-colored swallowing python was helpless. The power is too powerful, and it also has a terrifying power to suppress the heretics in the family, so those 3 tribes are also suppressed. Solomon's 12th sect master also spoke slowly. ~1 .1 Z.C. Oh. How about the strength of the 9-colored sky-swallowing python? When he also responded slowly. Obviously, although he helped King Xianling with one hand, King Xianling also concealed something from him. The strength of the 9-colored swallowing python is mediocre. I am afraid that it is now at the level of a 5-star fighting emperor. But Solomon's 12th sect master also seemed to hesitate. But what? But it doesn't matter. Wenzi didn't put on any airs at all. After all, the relationship between the Xianling royal family and Solomon was somewhat close, so there was no need to put on airs. More importantly, beside the 12th sect master of Solomon, there are 2 mysterious figures in black cloaks. Even Wenzi felt an extremely fearful aura from both of them, so he had to lower his stance. As far as Wenzi knows, Solomon has a total of 12 sect masters, and the strength of each sect master is extremely terrifying. And the one in front of him, Solomon's 12th sect master, has reached the level of the 7-star Do-D. As for the other sect masters, his strength is only stronger than these 12 sect masters. However, our Solomon experts have investigated, and it seems that the 9-colored sky-swallowing python hasn't appeared since the last time. It seems that they have entered the forbidden land of their Medusa family. Solomon's 12th sect master also said. Really? Wenzi was overjoyed when he heard this. If this 9-colored swallowing python is not among the Medusa family, then dealing with the Medusa family is quite simple. It's my king's goal, and it's this 9-colored swallowing python. She has entered the forbidden area of the Medusa family, and then we will be able to take action. Wenzi also laughed when he heard this. That said, don't forget that the forbidden area of the Medusa family is extremely strange. Even our first sect master couldn't detect what was in the forbidden area. And this forbidden area of the Medusa family is only accessible to the royal families of their 9 major tribes, and the inheritance in the forbidden area is extremely terrifying. So you should be careful. Solomon's 12th sect master also said slowly. Ian. Wenzi heard the words and was also shocked. If this Solomon's first sect master couldn't explore the forbidden area of the Medusa clan, I am afraid that no one in Xian Santian would know about the forbidden area of the Medusa clan. Things. I don't know what these 2 are called. The next moment, Wenzi also realized that the matter was over and immediately bent down and said to the 2 mysterious figures beside Solomon's 12th sect master. You don't need to worry about that. When you go back, remember to tell King Xianling that our plan has to be advanced. And the forbidden area of the Medusa family is full of variables, let him send troops as soon as possible. After Solomon's 12th sect master said, he also put on a black cloak in an instant, and then the next moment, the 3 also disappeared in this place. In a dark room. Looking at this fluctuation, the strength of these 2 will definitely not be lower than that of the 12th Solomon sect master. Wenzi looked at the disappearing 3 people and said slowly. Could it be? The next moment, Wenzi also remembered something, and he also had some thoughts in his heart when he combined with the few people from the burning incense valley. The next moment, Wenzi also slowly left the dark room, and then walked towards the Xianling royal family. At this time, in the dark room, the space was twisted slightly, and a force also dissipated out of thin air. It seems that the Xianling royal family and Solomon have made a big move this time. In a room, Elder Zhu slowly opened his eyes and said slightly. King. Solomon's people are here, they told me, let us send troops as soon as possible, otherwise once the 9-colored swallowing python obtains the inheritance of the Medusa family, it will be detrimental to us at that time. Wenzi also came to Xianling King beside him, he said in a low voice. He tilde these devils. However, the work efficiency is not bad. Go ahead and assemble the other members of the dragon-loving legion as soon as possible. As soon as the news spreads, it is said that our Xianling royal family sent troops to attack Medusa. King Xianling was also staring into the distance, and then there was a different look in his pupils. That's right, King. In addition to Solomon's 12th sect master, there are two extremely terrifying figures beside him who came to Xianling city this time. Wenzi also remembered something. It seems that Solomon is more anxious than me. However, even if this Xu Jin is me, I have to give him 3 points. King Xianling also said slowly. I really don't know, why does Solomon have the idea of ruling the entire Xiantian 3 days? With so many sects, can one of them handle it by themselves? It's too whimsical. But forget it, when I get the blood of the 9-colored swallowing python, whether it's Xingyang, this Xiantian Santian, or even Solomon, it's all mine. Ha ha ha. Terrifying laughter also spread throughout the room. Wang, no matter what, my life is yours, so no matter what you do, I will support you unconditionally. Even if I sacrifice my life for you. Wenzi said silently in his heart when he heard the words, and then slowly retreated. Minutes and seconds have passed, and Xiao Yan and the others have spent a lot of time entering the Xianling Imperial Pond. Although they are outside for a day, they can stay in the Xianling Imperial Pond for 10 days. In the center of the core area of Xianling Emperor Pond, a thin figure slowly appeared. That figure was actually Xiao Yang. At this time, Xiao Yang was surrounded by milky white flames, and then slowly immersed in a pond. This pond is also strange, it only has a very small space, but it is very suitable for Xiao Yang, as if it was tailor-made. At this time, the golden water around Xiao Yang's body also slowly soaked it. Then the milky white flames around Xiao Yang's body also caused the golden water to emit extremely hot temperatures. The golden energy in this Xianling Emperor Pond is really mysterious. It seems that absorbing this mysterious golden energy is constantly consolidating my soul realm and battle chi si. Xiao Yang also muttered in his heart, and then the next moment, it was also slowly running the burning dew. At this time, Xiao Yang was immersed in the golden Xianling Emperor Pond water, and the golden power that was suspended beside Xiao Yang also slowly flowed from all directions, and then all of it flowed into Xiao Yang's body. The next moment, just when the golden power was about to flow and disappear, Xiao Yang suddenly opened his mouth, and then an extremely terrifying wave slowly absorbed the rich golden power into his stomach. The reason why Xiao Yang did not immediately absorb the life force given to him by his master, the Golden Dragon King, was to use this extremely rich life force to shock the 4-star Do Di to consummation. After all, Xiao Yang at this time is already in the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. After absorbing the immortal body, although he did not bring a breakthrough in power to Xiao Yang also found that he vaguely touched the middle stage of the 4-star Do Emperor. The threshold of the peak. And the power of life in front of him is probably fatally attractive to Doxian level powerhouses, so it is feasible for Xiao Yang to use this force to break through the 4-star Do Emperor to complete success. Therefore, Xiao Yang was also immersed in the golden water for the first time. The pond is located outside the broken space. As the source of life stone in the broken space is taken away, the next moment, the place where the pond is also collapsed suddenly, and then a water liquid mixed with a huge breath also emerged. Come out. The pond that emerged should be connected to the most central part of the Xianling Emperor Pond, so soaking here is also very effective. Xiao Yang thought. Therefore, Xiao Yang didn't stop there too much, and directly plunged into the pond, enjoying the mystery of the Xianling Emperor Pond. As soon as he entered the water, a cold feeling spread throughout his body, but the next moment, Xiao Yang was also pleasantly surprised to find that the slightly depleted fighting chi in his body actually had a very obvious recovery. And this recovery is obviously not what Xiao Yang did, but the mysterious effect of this Xianling Emperor Pond. This place is really a good place. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, the conch shell on his chest suddenly emitted a very dazzling light, and then Xiao Yang also felt that an extremely turbulent impact force was also spontaneously generated under his feet. This should be the water that connects the entire Xianling Emperor Pond. It's no wonder that this effect is so terrifying. Xiao Yang also murmured, and now he can soak it with confidence. I just don't know if this Xianling Emperor Pond has the effect it is said to have. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he also closed his eyes, and then the surroundings returned to calm. And it is strange to say that in the golden water in the Xianling Emperor Pond, with the increase of Xiao Yang's immersion time, some golden energy slowly dispersed from the water, and then slowly poured into Xiao Yang in the body. Although Xiao Yang didn't know what this golden energy was, he didn't even need to think about it. This golden energy seemed to be about the stepping stone of the 6-star Do Emperor, so he didn't have time to think about it. It would be great to absorb more. Outside the core area of the forbidden area, since Xiao Yang entered, the isolated island seems to have some mysterious power which isolates this isolated island. I.O. was because Mu Yingying found this isolated island, and there was no way to enter immediately. After thinking for a while, Mu Yingying also gave up the idea of entering this isolated island, and then the huge power spread instantly, and then she also took off all the clothes on her body. Then slowly enter the water. The water in the golden Xianling Emperor Pond perfectly blended with Mu Yingying's jade white figure. The next moment, I could also see that tiny traces of golden energy were continuously gathering from all directions, and then slowly injected into Mu Yingying's body. It's time. After 10 days of soaking, Mu Yingying suddenly opened her eyes, and then her lips moved slightly, and she muttered. The next moment, Mu Yingying also took out the Do-Di pill, and then gently opened the bottle with her jade hand. Immediately, the Do-Di pill with delicate lines all over her body also appeared on Mu Yingying's palm. This time, it's up to you. After Mu Yingying finished speaking, she swallowed the Do-Di pill, and then continued to absorb the golden mysterious energy in the Xianling Emperor Pond, plus the power of this Do-Di pill. I am afraid that it is only a matter of time before breaking through the 5-star Do-Di. Looking back at Xiao Yang, this immersion was 3 months. Even if he was outside, 10 days had passed, and there were only 10 days left before he left the Xianling Emperor Pond. This Xianling Emperor Pond is really a good thing. Xiao Yang also said quite enviously obviously, 3 months after absorbing this Xianling Emperor Pond, in the depths of Xiao Yang's soul realm, have a certain prototype. Even the place that holds Do-Chi in Xiao Yang's body was gradually refined from a sea of Do-Chi. There is a vague phenomenon of breaking through the 4-star Do Emperor's completion. It's time. The next moment, Xiao Yang also laughed. Obviously, at this time, the power to absorb the Xianling Emperor Pond had reached its saturation point. It would be a waste of time to continue like this, so Xiao Yang also jumped out of that pond. Whether the 4-star Do-Di is successful or not depends on you. Xiao Yang also murmured. The next moment, Xiao Yang put the round object in the palm of his hand that contained the power of life, and slowly appeared in Xiao Yang's hand. Xiao Yang also smiled knowingly at this, and then suddenly raised his palm. A huge suction force also absorbed all the energy of life. What a strong power! When the power of life just entered Xiao Yang's body, an indescribable feeling of comfort spread throughout the body. The next moment, Xiao Yang also controlled this power of life. Facing Feng Yang decided to go. Trying to refine this power with burning dew, so as to absorb this pure power and gain the huge power of promotion. For this huge force of life, even the powerhouses of the Dozian level are quite jealous. Xiao Yang knows that he can't be impatient. Life force. This video will end here.